Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Yes, people. Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. As always, I'm here with the main man, Mr. Chris de Grill.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, so we are back with our regular programmed episodes.
Indeed, yeah. Imagine that after all the ridiculous specials we've done recently. We're back into the proper format.
Yeah. And I know there are people that like to indulge us in our little escapades. The people that have got a slightly more alternative mindset, and I know there are people that prefer to fucking just let us get on with it and do normal episodes. So apologies for our little flights fancy lately, but you know.
But also, like you say, thank you to everyone who was good with it and gave us some very lovely feedback from the recent ones.
Well, our last episode was on Censor, and Censor listened to it.
Censor listened to it? What the hell?
So if you're here new because you got in at Censor, slightly different change of pace this week. So what is this week's album,
This
Krista?
week, right, we are looking at the album I Say by Erasure.
Yeah, and I need to get something out of the way first, right? Obviously, we've done an Erasure album before now.
Yes, we did.
We did. We did one back. Which one?
It was in 1991, I think. So it was in our second season.
Yeah.
It was Chorus.
Chorus, there you go. Something was highlighted during the recording of that episode that I received feedback on, and to be honest with you, quite a bit of shit about. And look, I know it's pronounced Erasure. I know it's supposed to be pronounced Erasure, but somewhere, as a small child, I started pronouncing it Eurasia.
Yes.
Yeah? Like the fucking continent. Okay?
Exactly. They're European, they're called Erasure.
Okay. I've started saying Eurasia. Okay. Now, I'm going to do my damnedest to say Erasure through this, but I will fuck up.
Oh, you're going to slip. I know you are.
Yeah. Okay. I know it's wrong. You don't have to tell me. Yeah. Anyway.
But no, so you don't have to tell Dave, but I know that people will. It's gonna happen,
but you're looking at me like,
almost encouraging it.
Yeah, fuck
almost,
you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so look, we kind of we would normally start with a little bit of a recap of where we are with things. We did do that before, but we'll just recap. So, Erasure, you're a fan?
Erasure, I was a fan of what I knew from the 80s. I remember growing up, and they were always kind of big pop hits, top tens. I loved those, and I remember the Greatest Hits coming out, and it's full of fantastic songs.
Absolutely,
really
yes. Similar for me, I liked Erasure songs as a pop music fan in the 80s. By the time this is coming out, I'm not really listening to Erasure. I'm not listening to much pop music at all at this point in my life.
94 especially, I suppose.
Yeah. But I've kind of come back to my love of pop music later in life. As you know, I had my time as an angsty, elitist teen.
Yeah, of course. And you deliberately eschew anything that's popular and a little bit chart-bound. I was the same. I didn't listen to this at all. I wasn't aware of this. It just passed me by completely. It was number one. Fair enough. It was only number one for 1 week, so it wasn't like one of those ones that you couldn't get away from.
Yeah.
But it absolutely meant nothing to me at the time.
But I was listening to Censor.
Yeah, well, there you go. Exactly, right? But just from reading around it, right, this is their 6th studio album.
Yeah.
And it's the 4th in a row that got to number 1.
I mean, they were, you can't underestimate the mainstream appeal of Erasure. There you go.
Yep.
In the 80s and 90s. Now, this kind of feels a little bit like this was the beginning of the end of their enormous kind of relevance in that kind of pop industry.
Indeed. And they wouldn't get to... they didn't get another number 1 album.
Yeah.
The next album, which was 1995, got to number 14. 1997 album got to number 10. So they didn't continue on this wave that they were riding.
Sure.
But that's because the entire musical landscape was changing.
Absolutely. And, to this day, they remain a very strong leggedy act. They'll sell out very large venues and have a huge and rabid fan base.
Of course they will. I do wonder, whenever they're doing those big shows these days, how many songs from, for example, Chorus, the last one, from this one, from I Say, from the next one they do, or is it essentially a lot of the 80s stuff and a couple others?
Well, I don't know. I suspect they've got a lot of fans that like deeper cuts.
Oh, they absolutely will. Absolutely. And if they did, a 500 capacity show to the fans, you could play all of the B-sides and you would get a rapture reception. But if they are playing at some sort of a festival, for example, or an arena show, I imagine they have to play it a little bit safe.
I'd be interested. What size venue did they play last time they played?
I don't know. I wonder.
Let's have a look.
Right. While you're looking that, I'll just give another couple of little facts and stuff. This album, it was produced by a guy called Martin Ware, who is a founding member of Human League, but then split off and formed Heaven 17 of Temptation fame. He has collaborated with Vince Clarke a couple of other times on projects since this one, the Pretentious album in 1999 and Spectrum Pursuit Vehicle in 2001.
Okay.
And I read this thing on Wikipedia that Martin Ware also completes sound installations as a sonic muralist. In 2016, he released an 82-minute soundscape called Sounds of Our Shores, made up of seacoast sound clips sent in by the public.
Wow.
And I never, ever want to hear that.
I don't think I do
fucking
either.
Awful.
Okay, just to give you some context, I
Yes.
mean, the last time Erasure toured was October 2021.
21, okay.
Okay,
So 2 years this month.
That included the O2 and the Brighton Centre. So those are big,
Centre, right, okay.
yeah, those are big venues.
Oh, yeah,
and you're doing multiple nights at some of them as well. So
okay, sure.
they're still selling big.
And okay, so you said we did do the previous Erasure, we did Chorus, and it's almost 4 years ago that we recorded that. Doesn't seem that long ago to me.
It doesn't
but,
either.
It was nearly 4 years ago, and I was thinking to myself, I couldn't really remember much about the record. I went back and listened to the episode, and where we were on that one is that we weren't expecting much because we were, by that point, not listening to as much pop stuff. And we wanted it to be good. Yeah. And we ended up slightly disappointed.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where we were on that one. Are you similar feeling on this one?
My expectation on this is, kind of sixth album. If I get a couple of good songs,
big fucking bangs,
and some stuff that is not awful, I'll be happy enough.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and I think Erasure have the capability of doing that. I really do. Okay.
All right, so let's have a look at the cover. That's where we always generally start.
Yeah.
So we've got this quite nice blue woodland scene.
Sure.
And then you've got this kind of multicoloured, quite cartoony logo, like Erasure logo and text over it, which I don't think sits very well with the picture.
You say cartoon, and it is exactly that. It's like a kind of a, not Looney Tunes, but it's like some weird Ren and Stimpy cartoon things where all the letters are different fonts and different styles, and it does look weird. I think it looks pretty cheaply done as well.
I mean, I think it's certainly it'll make quite a few like graphic designers' eyes bleed. I think.
I think so.
I think the two things in and of themselves aren't bad either way, but I don't see that the logo goes with the image and vice versa,
No, and I suppose the image, like it's a woodland thing, it's nighttime, it's very calm, it's nice, gentle, and there are themes running through the album of nature and enjoying the beauty of the world around and that sort of thing. So maybe that's where that was coming from.
And the single covers, when you saw the single covers, they were like different coloured versions of this that represented kind of different seasons, I think.
Oh, I see, because there's definitely talk about seasons through the song as well.
Exactly.
I see. Okay, so it ties in with that. I'll give them that then. I didn't realise that, but no, I don't think it looks particularly.
No, it's not. It's not a good album cover.
No. And also, right, it's called I Say, I Say, I Say. Mm-hmm. What the fuck? Why is it called that?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of never really figured out
understand, because
where that
was. The only thing that I associate that with is starting off an old-timey joke.
Yeah.
Starting off a music hall joke. And this is not a funny album. Erasure are not a funny band.
Aye.
So I don't understand. And if it was done and if it was all kind of vaudeville style or music hall style music, I kind of get that as well. But I don't know why it's called I Say, I Say, I Say.
Well, I don't know either. I would suspect it's because after you've done 5 albums, it's quite difficult to work out what to call the 6th one.
Also very true. Yeah.
There we go. All right, well, let's start off with the first track. It's called Take Me Back.
Okay, right, so Take Me Back. Track number 1.
Okay, so that's pleasant enough, kind of lifting.
That's fine.
Electro pop.
Perfectly fine, absolutely.
It's a very analog sound.
Mm-hmm. Some sort of affecting vocals. What do you think about Andy Bell's voice in general?
I mean, I think Andy Bell's got a beautiful,
Yeah.
lush, soulful voice.
Yeah.
There are registers he sings in I care for less.
Same here.
Yeah, I like his kind of slightly deeper, more soulful voice. When he goes into that falsetto, I like it less. I don't mind it as much when he does when he harmonises with himself in the BVs a little bit.
Yeah.
And because it kind of, I had to look at it and go, oh, have you got female BVs in here?
It's all him.
And it's all him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it as much, but I don't find, like Blue Savannah and stuff like that, when he's really up in that, I don't find that, I don't enjoy his voice as much. There. But that's a personal preference.
Yeah, totally fine. And but, at the minute, he's not doing just falsetto, he's up and down.
I think this is a nice vocal. I think this is a nice soulful vocal. It's a little bit incidental.
Sure.
I think, lyrically we've got, kind of memories of idyllic summers in the countryside with a special person.
Yeah.
Kind of suggesting a longing for a happier time. So,
definitely. There's a nostalgic looking back. Yeah, it takes me back to those
It's
places.
got that lovely little bit of bittersweet melancholy that you often get in Erasure songs.
Yeah.
But there's not much else to this song.
No. It's... I mean, I don't want to start off by saying something I'm probably going to say a lot, but this is fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I don't get much from it.
I've put it's pleasant, if not a bit uneventful.
Yeah, and things like you say, the themes in it. I love songs that are going, oh, wasn't it brilliant when? And you're reminiscing about times you were happy and this sort of stuff. I love the fact that it's both happy and sad.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, this was great. Isn't it a shame it's not great anymore? I love that shit. This doesn't make me think, in the way that some songs will make me go, oh, fuck, that sounds like somewhere I'd want to be as well. I don't get that from this.
I agree with you completely, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I hear this song, and, you'll probably say this again, I'm quite happy to be in its company.
Okay, yeah.
I'm perfectly happy to be in its company. It's on in the background. It's nice enough. It's not a bad time, and there are little moments within the production. There's like a little drum beat back there that will go, oh, that's quite nice.
Yeah. There are things I noticed in the kind of the keyboard sounds.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, and presumably it's just because I was reading the lyrics at the same time, but I was going, oh, no, that does make me think of, like, butterflies and waterfalls and stuff. It is evocative of the scene that Andy Bell is trying to paint with the words. Vince Clarke's music does do some really nice things in making me go, oh, okay, I see what you're saying, I see where you're bringing me to.
Yeah.
But there are other bits where I think it's a little bit flimsy in the background. It's not a lot.
I agree. I mean, the litmus of this is every one of these songs, whether you want to or not, you're holding up against a pantheon of a superb greatest hits band.
Yeah, and that's harsh.
With pop bangers, right? And this is not that. This is, however, a perfectly nice song that I have no real issues with. However, it's a little bit forgettable.
Yes, I say that. I remember when I was listening to the previous one we did on this that I think I had an issue with not understanding some of the things that Andy Bell was trying to say.
Yeah.
And I thought that some of it was a little bit gibberish and faux profound. And I have the same issue with some of the things on here. Don't like this falsetto, by the way. I'm not a fan of that.
No, I mean, it's not the worst offender, but I'm not an enormous fan of it.
No. And also, kind of this end bit. We're into the last 20 seconds here.
Yeah.
This... I don't get why they've gone this cheesy step, because it's right. I'm just going to turn this back up a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, that's unnecessary.
Come on, don't do that. That's a weird way.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but
it's a bizarre thing to do.
It's got in your ear.
It did every time. Every time I was listening through, I was going, "Oh yeah, that happened, didn't it?" Yeah. I don't know if it's just
fade to grey, man.
Oh, exactly, man. So I think this is fine. I think this is okay. I think it's a strange way to start an album as a track one. If you've come back from Chorus, which is a number one album, right?
Yeah.
So you're still top of the world. The world is changing around you. maybe you are as confident in yourself as you've always been. Maybe you're like, nope, this album is killer from start to finish. Everyone's going to love it. Don't worry about a thing. But maybe there's a part of you going, we need to prove that we're still good. We need to prove ourselves, and we need to hook people in right from the start. And I don't know if that's the way to do that.
Well, or maybe the other side of it is it's a different point of view, which is, okay, we're at the top of our game. Our shows sell out left, right and centre. We've got a solid backbone of huge hits. We're going to do what we want to do. This is where our head's at right now. This is exactly what we're going to do. Our audience have got enough faith in us that they're going to go with it. And you know what? If we lose some of the people that aren't into it along the way, there's enough people there that we don't
absolutely
mind. Because an act at this level has been under the pressure of hit, and maybe at this point they've made enough money, they've done well enough that pressure feels like it's off a little bit, and they can just
Oh, I imagine you're entirely correct, because I think at this point Erasure are making an album that they want to make that isn't full of hits and is definitely, I think, more grown up from a lot of stuff they've done, and exploring different themes of more kind of soft ballad stuff, more nostalgic longing, this sort of different style. But if I were someone from Mute Records and I had any influence in going, all right, let's have a look at the sequencing, I might go, not sure if this is the first track.
Yeah, but if I put myself in the position of a super fan of, I'm not a super fan of Erasure, I'm a greatest hits fan of Erasure.
Yeah.
If I was a super fan of this band, I suspect I'd get more out of that.
Maybe so.
All right, well, let's do track number 2, unless you've got anything else to add.
No, that's all good.
So this one's called I Love Saturday.
Right. Strange.
Well, I mean, we all like Saturday. Okay, so this one sounds like 8-bit glitch pop almost.
Yeah, it really does, yeah. This was a single. It was the third and last single to be released from the album.
Yeah.
And I must admit, whenever I saw that there was a song title just called I Love Saturday, I was prepared for it to be fucking dreadful.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is a terrible title. But maybe they'll, prove me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to drop in a second into like a kind of a classic kind of 4/4 disco beat. Here we are.
Yes, we are. There it is. Yeah, I didn't like the start. Like I said, I didn't like his falsetto bit, and I thought, I don't know, it just feels so forced to me, because it's not, well, it's obviously not his comfortable range, and that's a great vocal right there, but the falsetto bit doesn't, okay, so I got my issues with that.
I think the chorus on this, which is kind of this.
Sure, yeah.
I know, I found this one, this got its hooks into me a bit more each time.
Is that right? Yeah.
I find this like it's not a classic version of the memorable pop hook that they're good at.
Yeah.
But it's not too far removed. I've put here, this isn't a classic, it's not terrible. It's a kind of a 6.5 out of 10.
I see, okay.
Kind of 6 to 6.5.
Fair enough.
I don't mind it.
Yeah. I would give it less than that from me. I find this too grating. I find it very cheesy.
I've got an I Love Saturday backing vocal that comes in, and that fucks me off.
No, I've got here that I think the backing vocals throughout are really annoying. I think they're just horribly put in. And I don't know whether this is a Pavlovian thing because it's called I Love Saturday, but I get such whiffs of Wakefield Saturday Night off this.
Oh, hang on. Well, now you've said that it's got that disco beat and that kind of slavey drum in it.
Yeah, and I fucking detest that song so much.
Well,
so that I don't really like this one.
Oh, I don't mind this one at all. I think I'm kinder to this than you are.
Yeah, no, that's fine because I'm not a fan. I'm like 2 or 3 out of 10.
Okay,
yeah.
No, I don't think it's that bad.
There are bits of it. Like you say, there's bits as it goes into the chorus. I think it's a good swell to it.
Like this, I think that vocal there, that kind of downward kind of discounted vocal, I really like that. And this, like the little swoops and bits here. Then.
Yeah,
I mean, but that does sound like
that's
Saturday.
Wakefield,
that really is Wakefield. And now I've heard that, I might have to adjust that score down. That's an unpleasant thing you've done to me, man.
It is. Oh, it's one of those things. There's one, I can't remember if it was someone told it to me. Essentially, it was if you listen to, oh God, I think it's an Alanis Morissette song.
Don't ruin Alanis Morissette.
No, but it was like, all right, no, it's great. You listen to it, but guess what? Listen to every time she inhales before she starts a line, and then you're like, I can't hear anything else. No.
Yeah. That's it. It's you ought to know. I know that.
That's a fuck's sake. God damn it.
Right. Anyway, so anything else for this one?
I mean, this was one that, because this is the first single we've kind of come to on the album.
I think it's a strange choice of a single.
But then again, whenever I look at the 10 songs on here, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that probably would be one of the ones I would choose. I guess one of the other things they did whenever they released singles was that they had loads and loads of remixes of from different people, kind of people who were big at the time. And there was ones of this one from JX, who did Son of a Gun, and Beatmasters. And I think that is kind of exactly what I would do. If I were Mr. Mute, I would be like, who's big in the charts? Because this is okay, but I want it to sound like whoever's big in the charts. And those would be straight up ones.
Yeah, a year later it'd have been a Fatboy Slim remix.
Yeah, of course it would be, exactly. And because this was a single as well, I watched the video for it. And it's awful.
Oh, of course.
It's shockingly bad. It's the third single as well.
So I think Erasure have generally got bad videos.
Yes, they do. They certainly do. Well, this was the third one, so the budget had gone a long time ago. And it's essentially filmed in Andy Bell's house in Mallorca.
Oh, nice.
I guess
hashtag humble brag.
I know, and he's probably just gone, well, I can write this off on expenses then.
Yeah.
If he could fly me out to my house in Mallorca. And it's him wandering around the house in sort of ill-fitting blazers, because it was the 90s, and sandals, and that, just walking around up and down his stairs.
Nice.
Or really short shorts.
Okay.
Yeah. He's walking around his house singing, and it's awful. Yeah, terrible. But I imagine very cheap, and he got someone out to do the catering so he could have some nice meals.
Nice. I tell you, I did a gig recently, and I met a very, very lovely chap called Graham. And Graham was aggressively gay. He was a lovely chap, but he'd come to the night we were at in the tightest pair of shorts I've ever seen. Right now,
lovely. What I mean, like cycling short type,
like 80s style shorts. He was wearing kind of
right.
He was kind of in a kind of a sailor's kind of vibe, and I could see quite easily why he'd done that, because Graham was doing quite well for himself.
I see. Okay.
I could see veins.
Right.
Like you know, like when you can see veins to the point that the EastEnders theme tune starts playing in your head.
Wow.
So let's do track number 3 now.
Okay.
Which is "Man in the Moon," not to be confused with
"Man on the Moon."
"Man on the Moon," or Okay.
A bit of squelchiness there.
A little bit.
Squelchy. It's a very silly noise, that squelch, but okay, fine.
This is how it feels to be lonely.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yes.
So we're still in reflective territory, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's melancholy vocal. But it's going to give way to something quite different in a minute.
Yes, because whenever I was first going through this, the first couple of verses that were here, I was like, okay, this is okay.
Yeah.
This is not much going on. I can't really, pick out the tune or the melody that they're going for.
They do this a few times on this record. Start like just with a very sparse on the record. But here we come in.
Right, okay.
Blippy, bloppy. I've put kind of electric folk.
Oh, it? Yeah. I feel a bit of Steel Eye Span.
Yeah.
All around my hat.
You can imagine robots doing the maypole.
Yeah, okay.
My feeling of this song is not that dissimilar to what's said about the other ones. It's pleasant. A little bit unremarkable.
I actually really like this one.
Oh, you really like this
one?
I do.
I really like this melody.
See, I find the music quite nice. I think the vocals a little bit anodyne. I'm just not sure when I'd put this on.
Oh, God. I mean, none of these songs I would ever choose to put on, I don't think.
Right.
No.
Oh, no. There's definitely at least one that I would.
Okay. But no, I really do like the melody. I would forgive that sort of fake panpipe thing that was unnecessarily the choice of instrumentation. Don't get that. But I like the melody loads. That I will give it a pass for a lot of other stuff.
Again, I'm very much in that kind of 6.5 kind of territory.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm probably more up to about 7.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're really bringing in the numbers this time.
I know. Yeah.
It's a numbers episode.
Apparently so. And also this bit where there's kind of that low-key snare beat in the background just building up. I really like that.
I quite like there's a little kind of that he does with the vocal. I quite like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, again, bits of this that I like. I'm not sure how memorable that melody is for me. I don't know how it's going to stick in my head.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair enough. It was one of the ones you said, previous the previous one, on your listens through, it got more and more catchy.
Yeah.
This was the one that did that for me.
Oh, okay.
Every time I was like, oh yeah, this tune, I remember this from last time.
I did.
There are bits of it as well. This is unnecessary. They don't need this breakdown. It sounds a little bit weird. It's like playing backward strings or something.
Yeah.
Fine, not a problem, but don't need this. But then it comes back in. Yeah, it's cool. I like this. I don't know why it's called. I don't know why he's decided to call it The Man in the Moon. And like I said at the start, there are lots of nature references in the world around us. And so at the very end, we get the lyrics, and the man up in the moon is shining good fortune down on me. Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's The Man in the Moon, but that doesn't matter, I guess.
No.
Whatever
Who
you
knows?
want to do.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what goes on in Mallorca?
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I've got nothing much else to add to this.
No. I was thinking about just all the kind of the nature-y stuff that there is going on, and it turns out that apparently originally this album was going to be all about frozen water.
Okay.
It was like, I see.
You've really reached for that one.
That was
pretty.
one of the worst things I've done.
Yeah. Did you feel that as you said it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not proud. No,
you shouldn't be.
No, fine. But there we go. Okay, so yeah, that's my favourite of the three so far. Anyway,
yeah.
You'd say the second one was your favourite of the three so far?
No. I'd say I kind of hold all three of those in a pretty similar regard. I'm perfectly happy to spend time with any one of them. But you haven't sold me a record yet.
No, okay, entirely true. Okay, cool. Well, okay, look, there's only 10 tracks on this record, so that's the first three done.
Okay, well, let's go albums.
Let's do the albums. We're looking first at the week of May the 22nd to 28th, which is the week that the album was number one. There was the Deacon Blues Greatest Hits was number one for 2 weeks previous to that, so I've included that in the kind of the rest of the roundup. We'll see what else was going on. But the week that we're looking at, number 10 is Dusty Springfield's Best Of. Number 9 is Blur Park Life. And number 8 is Crash Test Dummies, God Shuffled His Feet. Which, again, we've just mentioned before. Don't understand why that was a thing.
I don't understand, We don't understand why they weren't stopped.
Yeah, exactly. It's bizarre. Number 7 is The Seekers' Greatest Hits. Number 6 is Pink Floyd's Division Bell.
The Seekers' Greatest Hits? That's a weird one for the middle.
Number 7.
What prompted that?
Or it was bound to be some song.
Yeah, they're going to have had something that had done something in the mainstream.
It's Pink Floyd, Division Bell, number 6. Chris de Burgh, This Way Up, at number 5.
Oh, man, they didn't get to number 1.
Shame.
Come on.
Shame. Number 4, Cranberries, Everyone Else Is Doing It, etc., which is still, we aren't doing for another kind of 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Number 3, Eternal, Always and Forever. And I have not heard an Eternal album. And
I've not heard an album. I seem to remember liking a single.
Oh, some great pop singles, really good. But no, I can't imagine an album would be full of good pop singles. And then number 2 is the Deacon Blues Greatest Hits, our time. Other stuff though that came out. Sonic Youth released Experimental Jet Set Trash and No Star.
That's the one with Bulls in the Heather
Bull
on the
in the
lead
Heather.
single, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it got to number 10, which again for a pretty left field Sonic Youth album, I think is a high seller.
But that's selling to a fan base, isn't it?
Oh, it's selling to a fan base, and it's selling to people who've heard Kurt Cobain go, Sonic Youth are brilliant.
Of course it is,
you know.
Everyone had a fucking Sonic Youth t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, exactly. One of the most iconic images, that the front of Goo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no matter what the album sounded like, it was going to sell well. Whether or not people listened to it after week 2, different story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The Auteurs released Now I'm a Cowboy, got number 27, and They were getting a lot of press at that time, so I understand they were getting top 30 hit. That's fair enough, but they didn't stick around.
Nah.
They didn't have a lot of longevity in it.
They were the Outers before you knew it.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Hey.
The Violent Femmes released New Times, and I don't remember that one bit, because the only thing I remember Violent Femmes for is that late or mid-80s one with Twister in the Sun, etc.
Yeah.
I don't remember them releasing anything in 1994.
I don't either.
No. Toad the Wet Sprocket. I remember that coming out. I don't remember that coming out. It's called Dulcinea.
I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. If you call your band Toad the Wet Sprocket, then I'm not getting involved.
It was one of those ones where this band just appeared and started to be talked about, Toad the Wet Sprocket. And surely someone must have gone, don't talk about that. It's the worst band name that's ever happened. Let's just not talk. If we ignore it, it'll go away.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why they ever made an impression on anybody. I couldn't tell you what the music sounds like. I honestly couldn't.
I couldn't either, and I don't want to.
No, I'm okay.
I don't want to.
I can tell you exactly what Anal Cunts music sounds like with Everyone Should Be Killed. That's their album from May 1994.
Jesus Christ. I mean, it's a one-note joke, but if you're puerile, it's quite. Exactly. I mean, they had some pretty fucking horrific titles. As I recall.
When that was the point. Yeah, indeed. Heavy D and the Boys released Nothing But Love. Actually, was that? That was well post.
Well past the. This is
the big heyday.
This is where are we? 94. Yeah. So this is after he had the verse on the Naughty by Nature album where he's like, because I went pop and I still kept my ghetto pass, and anyone who laughs can kiss my yellow ass.
Right. Yes. Okay.
Heavy D was one of them lads that he took the coin. Mm-hmm. He did the thing. He paved the way in the mainstream, but he had a bit of respect in the game. Heavy D.
Okay. All right.
And he's one of the only gangster rappers that ever had a verse on a Michael Jackson song.
Oh, he did as well. Was that whenever we did
Dangerous?
Dangerous.
Maybe it's Jam. I can't remember if he's on that, but he's on one of the
tracks.
But
yeah, he is. He does a rhyme on that. I forgot about that completely.
Yeah. God rest his soul, anyway.
Oh, quite. And then the last one I've got is the debut album by Jeru the Damaja with The Sun Rises in the East.
And that is a fucking classic.
And that is, I remember it being talked about at the time.
Yeah.
And I think I had the single, was it Me and the Papes off that?
No, Me and the Papes is on Wrath of the Math.
All right, so what was the single off that one? Well, I remember hearing something off it and going, oh, that's okay, but I didn't investigate any further. But then everyone was talking about this.
Mate, it's a brilliant record. It's a primo production. Mm-hmm. It's very much an extension of that Gangstar sound in a way, but with a kind of a more staccato, kind of slightly more aggressive. Like Jeru is like, when he was at his best, he was like that lyrical ghetto prophet. Mm-hmm. I think by the time he got to his third album, he'd fallen off quite a lot.
Okay.
And some of the views and opinions don't really hold up. Okay, so it's one of those records that I think if you listen back to some of it with modern perspective, you can be like, oh, a little bit, a couple of little bits here and there are a little bit problematic.
I see. Okay.
In terms of that sound, that New York primo, as a soundbite of where hip hop was at that time, it is a fucking brilliant record, and I think it still sounds up. I think there's some great rhymes and cuts on that record. I'm trying to remember what the single is off of it because my brain doesn't work anymore. But you can't stop the Prophet.
Can't stop the Prophet. That's
you can't
amazing.
Stop the Prophet is
brilliant.
Fucking brilliant track.
Yes. Yeah. That's wonderful, that tune. Okay, well, look, fair enough. There's your albums.
Okay.
Mixed bag. Not huge amounts of stuff.
No.
But, okay. It's
but
not
I would recommend anyone that likes hip-hop, old school hip-hop, like, if you're coming to old school hip-hop and you want to dig into some of the deeper cuts, definitely give that Jeru record a spin. And the second one, it's definitely worth your time. You'll find something in it, I think. So let's go back into track 4 then.
All right.
And this one's called So the Story Goes. I just realised I've spelt the word goes wrong on my notes somehow.
That's impressive to do.
So, okay, light electropop.
Yeah, again, we're starting slow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit more kind of drama.
Chordy, drama.
Yeah. And here's Andy, right?
And he's up in his higher register a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be the first couple of times I heard this bit of the song, I was like, I haven't taken to this really, this bit. Yeah. I was like, okay, is this just going to be what the song's like?
Okay, yeah. And he's talking about like a nice beach that he wishes he was at. So a similar theme to something we've seen before. Right, okay, we're starting to build towards something.
A little bit. So, kind of wondering which way is it going to go. We've still got mainly chords underneath.
Yeah. Right. Okay, it's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Remember that video of that kid singing the song? I can't remember how it goes off the top of my head. Yes. It was like a famous early internet viral thing. Like the guy.
Oh no!
Okay. I can't fucking Mumba or whatever it was called.
No idea.
Okay, so now that it dropped into this really bouncy, kind of sci-fi infused beat, and you've got these like choral vocal samples.
Yeah, it's like a choir going on.
Yeah.
It's like musical theatre kind of choir.
And I find this along with it kind of builds and swoops. And again, this is one that once this came in, I liked this more and more with each.
I see. Okay. All right.
I'm still not sure about some of the more melodramatic vocal decisions that are made here, because it is a very, like you said, theatrical.
I get big musical theatre kind of vibes from this.
For sure. But for me, after the first 3 tracks, this is the one that's got the most character of the tracks so far.
Oh, I see. That's a nice way of thinking of it. Actually, yeah. All right. Yeah, there's parts of this that I get Depeche Mode vibes from.
Yeah, I can 100% go with that. I hadn't thought of it until you said it, but I'm like, you said that, and I was like,
I get some of that coming through.
Vince, of course, having been a member of Depeche Mode,
very much so, and presumably has been keeping tabs on what they do. There's a bit coming up here. Is it here? I know I've said it's already. It's a bit musical theatre, but there's a bit coming up that is just like, oh, this is surely from Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Where we've got the little boys' choir going on, and then this bit. It's like, whoa. See, I like it. I
like this as well.
Oh no, I do like it, but it's almost like parody of musical theatre.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone can get away with doing a bit of high camp, it's Erasure.
Oh, for sure. Of course. I mean, I'm sure there was one of the songs on the previous album that we looked at where it was like, oh, mate, are you just trying to write a West End show at this point?
Sure.
Yeah.
And I still think maybe they should have done.
Maybe so.
I think a West End show of Erasure songs is...
Oh, solid.
I mean, it's just waiting to happen, surely.
It is solid. Don't know about this bit where he's got this like deep voice intonation over the outro.
It's a little bit Enigma, isn't it?
It is, exactly, yeah. And we've talked a few times about having kids singing on your songs, and does it ever really work? Sometimes it can. I don't think this does.
I don't think this bit does. I think I like the bit earlier in the track when the chorals start coming in.
Did you? Oh, right, no, I wasn't fan of that.
So I really like that. I think that makes the track. I think the intro's a little... Yeah, again,
this is all very strange.
Just a couple of little odd choices. But overall, I enjoy spending time with this song.
Right, okay. And I have nothing against odd choices at all. Hey, give stuff a shot. Of course, not a problem. I don't think it all works. I think 20% of that is excellent. 80% of it is, are you sure? And sometimes you are, and sometimes you're not.
I'll be honest with you. I think... just because it stands out, it's probably my favourite of the tracks so far.
Okay.
Just because it's the one that makes me go, oh, what's going on here?
Sure, okay.
And as I say, each listen I liked it a little bit more. So that's that one. Let's try track 5, which is one called Run to the Sun. So here we are, high energy. Right? And I'll be honest with you, I've been waiting for something with a little bit more pace.
I see, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And this was another single. This is the second single. Got to number 6 in July of '94. And it definitely sounds more like what you'd go, typical Erasure. You know? This is what I expect from Erasure, maybe. Yeah. I'm reminded of the song chorus from that album because of this. It's all very shiny, bright, day glow. There's a lot going on.
I think it's got a really solid verse vocal, and it's got a pretty decent chorus.
Yeah, and I like the transition because it's major into minor key as well. I like that they flip it for the chorus.
So I mean, look, I like this one. I don't think this is top tier Erasure.
No,
but it's solid. I think this is one where you could be like, this could argue for its place on a set list live. This is one that could, if you've got a 2 CD greatest hits, you could argue that it'll find its way into there.
Yeah.
I think this is good, and it feels like the album's starting to take a little bit of shape as this one kind of comes in. Right, okay.
And like you say, you've been waiting for something a bit more like this, because we've had a couple of more slow ballady ones. We've had a very strange musical one just now. And for this to come through is at least a nice shiny surprise.
Yeah. And I do like that.
I do not like the sound of that synth one bit.
I quite like it.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. No, I get that's what you do in 1994. I really do. Everyone had that sort of a sound, but it kind of rankles with me.
Oh, I see. I don't
Yeah.
mind it at all.
Nah.
I think it sits in place here.
Okay, all right. No, I think, like you say, it's not the best Erasure song you're ever going to hear. It doesn't have the huge chorus that some of their songs do, but it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. However, let's talk about the video. Right?
Oh, is there a video for this?
There's a video for this, right?
Right.
This is the
Is it
second
terrible?
single. Of course, it's fucking dreadful, mate. Dreadful. It's really... So, you open on Alexanderplatz in Berlin, which I only know because of one of the Bourne films. It's this, like, depot. And they have put a really big kind of gyroscopic sculpture in bad, awful CGI around it.
Yeah.
And it's spinning, and it's like... There's little planety balls going all around it.
Planety balls.
Planety balls. And at the very centre is Andy Bell.
Yeah.
In a silver shirt and trousers.
Okay.
Silver face paint and glitter all over him. But the thing is, because they've got face paint on him, it doesn't make him look silver. It just makes him look really sweaty.
Okay, right.
Because he just looks moist.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the most Erasure thing we've heard so far. That really
Come on,
is.
this is nice.
Now, that's all right, that.
It sounds like Josh Wink.
You've got a bit far there. So he's at the centre of this sculpture, and everything's spinning around him, and there are other people standing on the planety balls, spinning around him. And they are in very, very short shorts. And they have head-to-toe body paint and glitter on. And one of them is Jason Statham.
Fuck off.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
It's
amazing.
Jason Statham doing kind of those really hand dance moves and looking the most serious as well.
Of course he's looking serious.
You know, he's not cracking any smiles. He's not having any fun orbiting Andy Bell.
Yeah.
But he's dancing like his life depends on it in his swimming trunks.
Well, it probably does.
That's true enough.
It hasn't worked for a while.
No. And, yeah, he's just there looking, fucking ripped.
Do you reckon they employed him because he had his own swimming trunks from the diving?
More than likely.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you?
Incidentally, just on a chase, I saw The Meg 2 the other week, and it is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
Really?
It's absolutely awful.
I mean, I didn't expect it to be good, but one of the worst.
It was terrible.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's another reason I shan't be seeing The Meg 2.
I mean, you're never going to be seeing it. Right?
Not a chance. But I looked into, was this the first thing that Jason Statham ever did on, in the music videos? And it's the second. The first one was the previous year. He was in a video for The Shaman. For their song Coming On.
It's coming on, it's coming on.
Yeah.
Coming on strong.
I'll tell you what, that video is fucking dreadful.
Yeah.
Almost worse. It's Jason Statham in swimming trunks, essentially, oiled up, head to toe, dancing on top of some awful CGI mushrooms.
Is he smiling?
No. Of course not.
Basically, you've just described the same thing, but with different CGI.
It's exactly it. It really is.
Well, maybe he's the go-to guy for that.
What the Shaman video does have, though, is Mr. C doing Jamaican patois.
Of course it does.
Maybe did they win for that? I don't know.
Well, it depends whether it's the race to the top or the race to the bottom.
It's quite. It's one of those races.
Could Statham move a bit?
I mean,
no,
not really. I don't want to disparage him because I fucking love Statham films.
I know you don't.
I'm a big fan of a shit Statham film. And, maybe the direction was, tell you what, would you mind dancing like you don't want to in a cold room? Would that be all right?
Right.
Yeah, fine. That's what he's doing.
Mate, that was the direction. Why would that be the direction?
Well, you never know. These artistic people.
Krista's list of ideas. Okay.
So anyway, the video is, to me... Is the selling point for that song.
Great, so that was a single then. That was the
second single. Yeah.
And I think that's a good choice for a single. I think that's a good record.
I can see why.
All right, well, let's do track number 6.
Yes, indeed.
This was this was the first single, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
This was like kind of the lead single in there. Mm-hmm. The first thing anyone heard, it was from released in April 94, so like a month before the album. It got to number 4 in the charts, this single. And every time I was reading reviews as well, people mentioned this as like the big one. Oh, this is a classic Erasure single. This one stands up, etc. I don't remember it one bit.
Okay, no, I see. I mean, I do remember this.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff in the production of this. I think it's a nice production. It goes well, but it's as with, well, from my perspective anyway, as with everything else, it's the quality of the vocal that separates this from the pack. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this is a classic. I think this is up there with their best work.
Oh, right. Really? Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
I think this is a fucking brilliant song. I love this.
Ah, right. Okay. Lovely. Good.
So yeah, I think it's vocal is like beautiful, fragile, optimistic in the way that a lot of the best Andy Bell stuff is.
Yeah.
And just this build and live in harmony. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I genuinely just really. Not much else to say about this. I think
nice.
this is a fucking brilliant song.
Fair play. All right. I mean, how do you feel? Because I think this is a very good tune. I think it's a very nice tune. I think there's loads of it works great.
Yeah.
Really does. And while I think it was, again, if I'm putting my my label head on, I don't know if I would have braved this as single number one.
Oh, I think
it's a ballad.
I think this is. I
can see why.
I think this is head and shoulders over everything else on the record.
I see, but okay, it is a big tune. But the very first lines tickle me, right? It goes, "Open your eyes, I see your eyes are open. Wear no disguise for me, come into the open." So, like, not only is the first two lines, "Open your eyes," oh no, they're open, cool. He's rhyming open with open.
Yeah.
Like, straight away. It's not his best moment for songwriting.
Okay, but I would say the fact that I hadn't picked up on that and it hadn't rankled me,
that's
kind of means he's made a choice and got away with it.
No, he's definitely got away with it. Yeah, if you didn't go, then he definitely did. Definitely did. The video for this is something that you couldn't do today.
Oh, really? What is it?
Yeah. So we open on a sort of an old Chinese landscape. So the sort of thing you'd see in a classic Chinese painting.
I've already slightly got the fear.
Yeah, and it might. I think it's described as a scroll painting inspired setting. So it's got like a kind of a pagoda thing.
Sure.
They're in a little garden. Andy Bell is there in what looks like some Chinese sorcerer's clothes.
Okay.
Right, and he is there to rescue a woman who has been frozen. She's in snow and she's frozen solid. And she's in traditional Chinese garb as well.
Is she Chinese?
Not even close.
Okay.
Right. And then he has a magical orb that changes the seasons. We've talked about that. It changes the seasons, and the sun comes out and flowers bloom, and she defrosts, and it's all lovely. She starts playing like a classic Chinese instrument as well. And then a dragon comes, which is essentially a man on stilts in a mask.
Okay.
And an evil dragon, and freezes them all again. And he has to do it again and defeat the evil dragon because the dragon's evil. And then, for some reason, at the very end, it pans to a kind of a cross on a grave.
Okay.
Not of anyone, perhaps of the dragon, I don't know. But it's a definite Chinese man's photo that's on the cross. But it looks like they've coloured in his eyebrows to be really big.
Oh.
And then Andy Bell flies away into the sky in his sorcerer's wizard's clothes.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound so much as something they couldn't do these days. Just something they shouldn't do.
Well, they should have done it at the time.
Ever.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. Is the dragon good?
No, it's terrible. It really is a man on stilts in like a mask that you'd buy in a Halloween shop.
Okay.
With some long red fingernails. That's the extent of the dragon. And it's not like he's got a big tail or body. It's a man on stilts.
Where's Vince Clarke in all of this?
Crying in the background, I'd imagine.
Absent.
Or counting his money somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
And there's also a bit there, the Andy Bell wizard characters do some backflips, and they have made no effort to have the stunt double person look like Andy Bell at all.
Nice.
And so whenever you do catch a glimpse of like the side of his face, you go, not even similar.
Yeah,
not a chance. And so it looks to me maybe that the director was like, well, I'll tell you what, I do know some people in the circus that could get pretty cheap, and you think he's got his own stilts.
Well, what's more important, is it the fact that he looks like him, or that his name was Randy Bell?
Bandy L. Yeah. No, this is nice. And one thing I also do like about the song, and I think it's a relatively brave move for a lead single, is that they go from 4/4 into 5/4 time at the end of each chorus to fit the word in, because it's like harmony, oh,
there you
and
go.
then there's an extra bit on that they don't have to do.
That's why it's got me, man. It's appealed to the prog fan.
It's
in
Tool.
Me.
Honestly, they didn't need to do it. They could have not had the extra word that they wanted to put in, or they could have just started the next line over the top of the previous one and kept it in 4/4, but they didn't, and it's every single chorus.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
I think that chorus is fucking glorious.
It is very nice. It's nice, but I think that is jarring in a good way, because it makes me notice it, and I'm like, that's a choice you've made. Very, very deliberate choice.
Very much. No, really good. I really like that one.
Right. Well, let's see if you agree with Peter Perfides from the Melody Maker, because
very rarely
his review of this at the time, right? A bittersweet feast of feelings with Andy Bell's ethereally lachrymose moan, tantalising and trapping you forever with a chorus so ravishing that even the Four Tops' I Can't Help Myself sounds like the Toy Dolls by comparison. Truly the work of angels.
I mean, I think that is maybe slightly over effusive.
Calm down, my God.
But I do genuinely really like this song. I do think it's I do think it's a very, very, very great pop song. I think if I went to see Erasure live or had a greatest hits and this song wasn't on it, I would be furious.
Okay. No, well, it sounds like they were. This is one of the ones they do still. Remixes, right? They do the remixes of all the singles. There is a remix of this, and it was brought to my attention by someone on Twitter, who I'm sure we'll get to later, by Capella.
Oh, God.
Right? You remember Capella,
Yeah,
that sort of dance rave, pop thing, right? And there are obviously many instances you know of when a remix is essentially they've given a band £2,000 and they've gone, well, we've got this sitting in the vaults that we weren't going to release.
Yeah.
We'll stick your vocals over it. And this is one of the most blatant of this for me. So
I call that Aphex Twin syndrome.
Oh, sure. Right, here's the Capella Club remix of Always, right? And so, actually, I'm going to skip through a couple of bits. Yeah. It does this. I was like, okay. Yeah, that it works for what they're doing. There's Andy Bell's vocal. But, right, let me get to when it kicks in, okay? That's just a Capella song.
Yeah, I don't care for this.
That's literally... I'm sure they released this. I think this is one of their tunes. I mean, I will play you Capella's You Got to Know.
Oh, you don't have to.
Here you go.
I mean, Capella in not very varied songwriting.
I know, shocker.
Yeah,
true.
Hey,
yeah.
Next thing you know, you'll tell me that the CNC Music Factory remix sounds a little bit like any one of their other songs.
Yeah, god damn. Yeah, no, that's a real take the money and run, that is.
Oh, mate, yeah, rubbish.
And also, we had a note on Twitter. Have you ever heard of a video game called Robot Unicorn Attack?
No.
Of course not, because I can't believe it exists. It's a fucking stupid name for a video game. But it does exist. I looked it up.
Okay.
And Always, the original version, was the main song on that video. It's like from early 2000s.
Well, there you go.
It's like, and some people going, oh, I remember this. I looked at it when I was watching the video, loads of the YouTube comments. I went, oh, I remember playing, Robot Unicorn Attack for hours on whatever console they had.
Well,
what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, that sounds quite niche.
It really does.
Right.
Just very quickly, the last thing, talking about remixes, did you know that Cypress Hill apparently were going to do a remix of this whole album? It was going to be a dedication for their friends. It was going to be called Essay.
Oh, it was a lot of long-form writings.
Oh, well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't have bothered.
No, I'm sorry I did, to be honest. Okay. Well, there we go. All right, we're pretty much two-thirds of the way through. So... Yeah. Some singles?
Well, actually, before you do, I want to tell you that, funnily enough, this record was actually heavily influenced by gangster rap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, basically, they kind of thought back to the beginning of gangster rap and what a prototype for it could be.
Yeah.
And they were heavily influenced by the work of Ice-T.
Uh-huh.
And they went, okay, well, what if instead of Ice-T, we go further back and Ice
all the way
A?
Back. Right.
Yeah, Ice A.
Mm.
The second Ice A. It was planned to be a series of records, Ice B.
See, yeah.
But they just lost interest in the project.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and do you see how it feels when someone does it to you?
Yeah.
It's not nice, is it? It's not nice.
I never do it to be nice. Don't worry about that.
Right.
No.
Let's take a break for a minute and let's go and check out our singles.
Lovely stuff. Okay, for again, the week of the singles, the top 10 is May 22nd, 28th, so halfway through 1994. Yep. Number 10 is one that we saw, I think in the last episode we did, is Eternal's Just a Step from Heaven.
Uh-huh.
Number 9, and this is a huge track that you're going to get straight away, but we don't need to talk too much about it because we're going to do the full album.
Okay, it's Prodigy, No Good Start with Dance.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at the actual full album, Music for the Generation, in a few episodes' time. But yeah, that got to number 9 at this point, and I loved that tune.
Oh, mate, that's arguably my favourite Prodigy tune.
Fair play. Number 8, and I cannot imagine you're going to get this at all, but just in case, I've put it in. It's sort of a boy band, and obviously because it's 1994, there's a bit of R&B, there's a bit of dance.
Yeah, that really does sound like a light George Michael, doesn't it?
Oh, it does actually. Yeah, or sped up. Yeah, pitched up to 8.
I'm trying to think which boy band it's going to be. Is it like a real kind of real also ran?
Oh, very much so.
It's like A1 or something like that.
It's along those lines. I remember the name, but I could never. I couldn't tell you anyone who's in it or any of the songs.
And that really sounds like a cross between Gary Barlow and Robbie Williams.
Oh, I see. Sure. Yeah, and it definitely sounds like early Take That.
Yeah, I mean, it very much sounds like Take That. So, I mean, I know I don't know who it is off the top of my head.
I mean, if I told you it's called More to This World, does that ring any bells? No, why would it? Bad Boys Inc.
Oh, Bad Boys Inc. I'd have never got there.
No, of course not.
I forgot they existed.
Yeah, and for good reason.
Bad Boys Incorporated. They sound like such bad boys, don't they?
Oh, threatening. Don't hang around on the street corners with these lads.
I do rate the fact that as well as being bad boys, though, they have found the time to incorporate themselves at company's house.
That is well. You don't want to lose all your money if you go bankrupt.
Absolutely, that's right. You have got to protect your assets.
Number 7, we've seen before, is C.J. Lewis, Sweets for My Sweet, because we've talked about the terrible reggae that was going on.
Let's not talk about that anymore.
No. This one, and again, right, this is number 6. Mm-hmm. We don't have to say too much about this because we're going to have to talk about it another time.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Is it Too Unlimited?
Yes, it is.
Which is the track?
It's The Real Thing, which I think is also the title of the album that we're going to have to do.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly does sound like the real thing.
Oh, you can. It's not fake. This is definitely Too Unlimited.
Like the difference between fake dog shit and real dog shit.
Okay, so yes, number 5.
Does he say techno at all in this song?
I have not listened that far through.
Okay.
I will when I have to.
Why did they never have a record called Techno Prisoners?
Oh, that would be good. I like that.
There you go.
Surely that's just more of a T-shirt. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 4, you might remember this song. You go, oh yeah, I know that. You won't know who it is. I mean, this fucking chart.
It's just every song, isn't it?
Yeah. Let me skip to the vocals in case that gives it away.
I mean, it's just one of those dirgy fucking Euro dance tracks.
Yeah.
I've got no idea who.
Exactly. It was almost like interchangeable at this point. I think it's about to say the chorus. Oh, no, whatever. It's Max with 2 X's and Getaway.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
No.
I'm glad that they've got the woman from 2 Unlimited in there.
Of course. Generic techno female vocals.
A woman singing something.
Exactly.
Shout out to Big Rob Deering.
Yeah. Number 4 we did before is Stiltskin Inside.
Yeah.
Which is still absolute parody. Number 3, it's almost a shame that we're not going to have to do this album.
Is it though?
Potentially.
Ooh.
Because we did an album of theirs before.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun.
No. I see 17.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I don't remember this
What's
song.
the track?
A little bit of reggae.
Kind of enjoying it though. Round the world.
There you are. Around the world.
No place like home.
Fucking hell, mate. Around the world.
Babe. Yeah, this is a fucking good tune.
I think you're overestimating how good this tune is, Dave.
Ah, they're there again, man. Look, don't mess with
what, Tony?
Like Ivor Novello winning.
Oh,
Tony.
That's very true as well. Ivor Novello, fuck me. But no, I don't think the album is on our radar at all.
Look, man, know 17, know the streets.
Good. Yeah, I'll take
So
that.
you were going to say that.
Number 2, and I'm playing this at number 2. We are going to see this a lot.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because it's that song.
Mm-hmm.
This was 1994, and
Where do you feel it? In your fingers?
in my finger.
Do you feel it in your toes?
I do.
Jesus, this fucking song never went away, did it?
Wet, wet, wet. Love is all around.
Love is all around. Notably from the soundtrack of 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
I know. And yeah, I think this was it was 16 weeks. Was this?
Yeah.
Huge. 14 or 16 weeks.
There's
number
just
one.
something so despicable about Marty Pelé.
But there obviously, of course, there is. But I also just keep hearing stories about it. Just how much of an absolute arsehole he was, especially at this time, because he was on fucking a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
And he was just this little, he was an electrician or carpenter from Glasgow who got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
He was just this little shitty little kid, and there's part of me that goes, that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh right, you're a massive cunt.
Yeah.
But that's funny because then he puts this, he smiles into the camera and sings this lovely love song, and all the women love him, and you know that they do not want. Yeah. Marty Pelé.
He's just a fucking scrotum.
He's a scum. Yeah. Okay, so there's your top... Oh, no, sorry, there's not your top 10, because that's number 2. Number 1 is the Man United football squad with Come On You Reds.
Oh, yeah, we don't need to hear that.
Don't need it. Fine.
I bet it's not on Spotify.
I got it removed.
Yeah.
Right, other songs that came out in the 3-week period that we're doing here. This one got to number 14.
Oh, ding, ding, ding. I know what this is.
Yeah. This was maybe the second single off the album.
Is it Stone Temple Pilots? No.
But
hang on.
Stone Temple Pilots definitely wanted to be this band at some point.
Oh, it's Pearl Jam.
It's Pearl Jam.
Oh, is it Spin the Black... No, it's not Spin the Black Circle. Jeremy Ledbetter or something like that?
No.
Well...
No. Dissident.
Dissident, there you go.
Yeah, Dissident.
There's going to be big Pearl Jam fans here that'll be very upset with me.
Oh, they'll be screaming from the very first note on that. Dissident! Yeah.
I just stopped listening to Pearl Jam. Whenever I go back and listen to Pearl Jam, I have a nice time.
Maybe.
But so what is it? Is this on...
On Versus.
This is on Versus still?
Yeah.
I should have known
I
this.
think so.
I've listened to Versus a bit.
Let me check.
It's
definitely on Versus. Yeah.
But I was such an obsessive... It's weird, actually. I don't really understand why, because I was such an obsessive fan of 10. And then Versus came out, and I listened to it a couple of times, and I didn't love it at the time. And when I hear it now, I think it's pretty solid.
But that's exactly why you took it. I did the same. I was like, oh, great. Yeah, these 10 songs are fantastic. Then they came out with Verses, and it was a lot more sort of harsh and, scratchy guitars rather than the sheen of 10. I was like, oh, well, bollocks to you then.
And I remember the third record, which is the one that had Spin the Black Circle.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called.
Vitalogy?
Vitalogy. I remember not liking that.
I thought it was a bit dull.
Yeah, and I've gone back though. I've got a few. I would like to see him live, I've got to say. And
one of the ones that I've never seen. Yeah, you're right.
I definitely do the homework to go and see him live.
Fair enough.
If you're a Pearl Jam fan, tell us what the best records of the latter career are that we should be listening to.
Well, don't do that. We're just going to get... Everyone's going to go different ones. There'll be 100 different tracks.
No, we're not going to do anything about it.
Oh, shit, no. All right, so that came out. This one came out, and this got to number 13. And we kind of briefly mentioned this before.
On a shoot, baby. Salt and pepper.
Yes, mate. Salt and pepper. Shoot. And this, I remember being surprised. We were talking about the album this came out on, and I had it in my head that this came out a lot earlier than 1994. But then, then it makes sense.
So of course, it's not the best track on this record. That remains.
Oh, I've Got AIDS?
I've Got AIDS.
Oh, the joy of finding that. My God. Fine. Right, so number 13 that got to. Alice Cooper released Lost in America. Don't remember that one bit.
Okay.
We got to number 22. Moby released Hymn. Hymn.
Yeah.
Got to number 31. Don't remember that either. This one I do remember coming out, and I liked it at the time. And they're kind of constantly gone, oh, one of the great lost bands of the 90s, or this is one of the singles that no one really talks about. And I very much like this. I might even have it somewhere. I'm not sure. But I don't remember. I never checked out anything else from the band.
I do like that guitar tone.
It's nice. I mean, it's very 1994,
yeah,
kind of college rock. This only got to number 40 in the UK. I think it might have done a little bit better in the States, or at least it was more on rotation over on MTV over there.
I'm trying to remember what the fuck it is.
And let me skip to a chorus.
Oh, what is this, man? I remember this song.
Yeah.
Now, being alone. Hey, like being stoned.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? Oh man, this is going to annoy me.
Yeah. I'll just tell you.
Yeah, go on then.
It was called Low. It's like
Yeah.
being with you about being low by a band called Cracker.
Cracker, that's it. Yeah.
Off the album Kerosene Hat.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I remember this song. Actually, do you remember a few years ago there was that pop quiz app that we were fucking all about?
Oh, Song Pop.
Yeah, it was one of the tracks off of that.
Ah, right. That makes me definitely think it was bigger in the States.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right. Okay. Only got to number 40.
I think Cracker are like one of those kind of they're kind of bit of a punchline in the landfill grunge kind of thing.
I think they're more talked about as.
Then they're like the soil of grunge.
Soil? God, that's a horrible thing to say to anybody. There's a couple other bands. Who did that one? Standing in a phone box with something in my hand. Like ones that one-hit wonders, essentially, in the UK at least, where you go, oh, whatever happened to, I bet you they're stacking shelves these days. Yeah. Cracker would be one of those ones.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, Nas released It Ain't Hard to Tell, which only got to number 64.
Yeah, but hip-hop wasn't selling in this country at that time.
Not at all. One that I would have done and played, except it's not on Spotify, New Kingdom released Good Times.
Oh, what? Good Times isn't on Spotify.
No, New Kingdom.
I mean, recently, up until recently, you could get Unicorns Horse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know where that's gone.
Only got to number 87 in the UK.
Good Times, man. What a track that is.
But, and again, we talked about them a little bit when we did our Censor episode last, because they supported Censor, and Censor were like huge fans of theirs and bigged them up all the time. And yeah, me and my mates loved those records, but they did fuck all.
They were real fucking cult hit records.
Yeah, sure. I don't even think they did better in the States. I think they were absolutely even less known over there.
But yeah, I think fucking those records are great, man. They're like real classic records.
Yeah. Cool
Both
shit, man. Cool shit. A few more. Only got to number 96, but Bivouac released the Marked and Tagged EP, and Bivouac were pretty cool. They're like, again, very American college rock sort of style, but good indie stuff. Deep Forest released Deep Forest, got to number 20. Bullshit. The Family Cat released Wonderful Excuse, got to 48, and they got talked about loads. And I think they played Luton whenever I was at uni there. Didn't give a shit.
Nah.
Did not give one shit. One I remember coming out, though, and being slightly excited for, was this. It was the first kind of solo stuff after leaving his main band. And I remember this coming out and going, wicked. And then hearing it and going, this is a bit boring. But does it ring any bells with you at all?
No, you're saying his first solo. So is it Frank Black or something?
It's Frank Black. Yeah, it's Frank Black. The song called Headache off his Teenager of the Year album, which is his first debut solo thing. I just thought, this is a bit...
Just indie light, innit?
Exactly, yeah.
Jingle jangle.
I wanted a lot more darkness and horrible shit from the front man of the Pixies. But he was just on this indie pop thing. Yeah. And one that you are going to... I don't know if you'll remember it. You won't like it. I went back, because I vaguely remembered it, and I was like, oh no, I still like this. The very, very first single only got to number 75 from this band.
Is it Oasis?
No.
Sounds like Oasis. No, it doesn't.
No. Yeah, exactly. We're again getting into that Britpop thing, and this band had much bigger singles later on, but this was their very first. This is debut. Let me skip into it a bit here. Does that voice ring any bells?
Yeah, I mean, is that what's her face? What's her fucking name? Is it fucking my brain has just gone completely. Fucking not Echo Belly, not Sleeper, the other one.
Well, no, you've gone too far.
Right?
Yeah. Because it's Sleeper.
It is Sleeper.
It is Sleeper.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Were you thinking of Elastica?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right now, no, this is Sleeper. This is Delicious by Sleeper.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds fine.
Yeah. No, I very much enjoyed this. Going back to it, like I remember this. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, number 75 for their first single. Fine. But there you go. That's all the singles I have. Some absolute shit in there. Let's face it.
It's not classic.
No, it really is not. There's Salt and Pepper, Pearl Jam. I like the Sleeper one. The New Kingdom one we didn't hear. Prodigy. There's some shit there. That's fine. But there's also an awful lot of terrible pop nonsense chart shit.
Yeah,
there you go.
All right, well, no worries. Well, let's dig back into this record then.
Right.
Yeah, we're in a home stretch, last 4 tracks. So the next one's called
All Through the
Year.
Years.
Okay. All right, this is bit The Equalizer.
Oh, nice.
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Here, it's theremin time.
Is it ever not theremin time?
Well, I mean, the thing is about a theremin is it's going to give you like a bit of a 50s sci-fi feel.
Sure.
And, you know...
We've not even had the Portishead album yet, have we?
Here we are. No, we haven't.
What's that joke about... I bought a theremin a few years ago, but I sold it recently. I hadn't touched it in years. Yeah.
They're brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, so again, we've got a big, long intro without any vocals coming in yet. Here we are. Okay. Stars.
Yeah.
More singing about the world around us.
I do quite like this one. It is slightly back in that pleasant, not remarkable. But that and I wrote that down, and I went and I immediately corrected myself. That kind of feels a little bit like "Damn It" with Faint Praise, because I do like this one.
Oh, you do? Okay, right.
I think it's solid, but it is a bit. I'm never going to listen to it again.
Nah, fine. Yeah, I think there are some good bits of vocals. I think the bit that we just heard, where Andy's again in the lower register, comes up very nice, and there are here we go swelling into this, but overall. I think this is just a bit weak. I think particularly the keyboard sounds are like Casio preset. I quite like the spacey.
Yeah. It is a little bit on the nose, but again, going back into the idea of them having a musical or writing a musical, I can see this as being like a set piece in like a sci-fi musical or something.
Wait, he said, okay, here's what I'm picturing, and I know it's obviously he's saying about sailing through the stars, but I see him on the prow of a ship, your old style Captain Hook type ship. At night, stars in the sky twinkling, the wind in his hair, singing this into the night. I can see that.
Honestly, I'm more of like a really hokey old style, like flying saucer.
Oh, right.
Singing his love to like a green lad in tight silver trousers.
Right.
You know?
Okay, I see. Well, yeah, maybe those. I actually do think this is some of his best vocal stuff on the album for me. This song, I think it's really nice voice, but my issue with it is the music, the backing music. I think it's very flimsy. I quite
like the music. My issue with this song is nothing that's in it. It's what isn't in it, which is a hook or something that brings you back.
Sure. Yeah.
I think there's some interesting drama in it, some interesting bits and pieces, but it hasn't got the stuff that I really want out of it. And anyway.
Again, right, it's 5 minutes long.
It's too long,
for sure. Long. And I think they do the chorus 3 times. They do the same verse 4 times. It is just repeating and repeating and repeating until
I
fade.
I think it's all right. It's
a bit dreary.
You're right. It's nothing amazing. Anyway, let's do track 8. Yeah. This one's called Blues Away.
Blues Away.
And what is that? Like an electro clarinet?
God knows.
I don't like that.
Don't know what it is.
I do not like that.
There are some various sounds in this song that should have been outlawed.
Yeah.
And while I said on the previous one I really liked Andy Bell's voice, I don't on this one.
No, again, we've said that this falsetto is not... Look,
it's not what I want to hear from him.
It isn't awful, because I don't think this album is ever awful.
Oh, I see, okay.
Right?
Yep.
But this isn't a song I would choose to listen to again.
No.
I don't care for this. Although there is... The reason I can't say... Because there is like a weirdly, like kind of vaguely demented Phil Collins-esque drum breakdown.
Oh, there is as well. Right, let me see if I can get to that. Well, actually, hold on. He's about to... This... As we get to the chorus, that's okay. That's okay. That's better than... But that sound...
That fucking... Why is that sound there?
Don't do that at all.
It's terrible.
That's a child's toy instrument. Yeah, okay. But right, let me see if I can find the breakdown, because I noticed that too. Right. Oh. So yeah, we just have we're not. This is the longest song on the album, by the way,
Yeah,
for no reason.
It's my least favourite song on the album.
Right. But
I want a whole song of this.
it's same here.
I want this song.
Yeah. Had there been more of this, I'd have been much more into it.
Listen to this. This bit's great, but it's a different fucking song, and then
it goes
3,
whiz.
4.
Yeah.
And that
Don't do that either.
No, I like that. I like that.
Come on, that's
I like that. That's fun.
no.
But you know,
right? You say you don't think it's a terrible song. I think it's a very bad song. I do. This annoys me.
I don't think it's terrible. I don't,
Yeah.
because there's bits of it that but I don't know. Maybe I'm being too kind to it, because it is my least favourite on this record.
I see. Okay. Oh, okay.
But,
probably mine too, because I think I've said this is a very bad song.
I think there's some very bad choices in this song.
Yeah.
I don't care for it.
One thing I
It's fair
did
to say.
have whenever I was reading the lyrics. I was reading the lyrics alongside the song, so I could see what he was trying to say. And I've not talked a lot about the lyrics in this album because I don't think they're anything particularly.
They're quite flimsy.
Yeah. So anyway, I was also on one of the read-throughs, a little bit distracted. I wasn't paying like proper attention.
Yeah.
And I glanced away and just skimmed back into the chorus. And the line was, "I cannot see why I should put my blues away." For some reason, I misread it, and I thought it said, "I cannot see why I should put my pubes away." And I'll be honest, that's a song I'd rather listen to.
Yeah.
It's also a sentiment I can get behind.
Yeah.
But
I don't reckon Andy Bell's got many pubes.
no, I think he's a sleek man.
Yeah. Like a seal.
Yeah, indeed. Greased for maximum water.
Or maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, right, well, let's just fucking move away from this one now.
Yeah.
The next one's called Miracle.
Okay, so we're track number 9 of 10.
Yeah. And it's like a virgin.
Oh, you see, I'd said Electric Dreams and Never Ending Story.
Oh, yeah, it's all of those. Yeah.
But it's absolutely 80s.
Yeah,
this is
for sure,
pure 80s. Yeah. They're not trying to do whatever's happening right now in 94.
We've got the slow start, we've got big, nice, epic, spacey analog synths.
Yeah.
And we've got, again, this other thing they keep doing, which is, it's all pretty much with, it's not a cappella because there's a tune behind it, but there's no beat until we get to just before verse 2.
Indeed, yes, exactly. There's a slow build in. But yeah, it's more of a straightforward thing going on. Actually, how long is this one? This is... Alright, it's only 4 minutes 12, so it's a...
Feels longer, though.
It's a shorter one. And right, there's a choir in the background again.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need that, I feel. But maybe they're going for the big, dramatic, musical thing again.
And then...
Oh, bit of bass. Bass line in.
Yeah. Wobbly bass.
Wobbly bass. I don't know if passion covering him with love is what I want to picture.
We've all been there, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
pardon?
And now we're into, I would call this Europop.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Definitely Europop. It's, again, more like the Erasure I would have in my head.
Yeah.
If you said an Erasure tune.
This doesn't particularly connect with me or do it for me.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like I'm repeating myself. I don't hate this.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't hate this. I don't have any real problem with it. It can play in the background ad infinitum, But I don't really feel any great connection to it. Again,
this is one of my favourites on not like favourite, but this is one of the ones I think. Oh no! After a lot of no thank yous, this is a yes please for me.
See, I don't get this one really.
I think it's because it sounds to me like we've just listed a load of 80 songs that it kind of sounds a bit like, and because of that, I am transported back to, if this would have fitted in, if they'd released this in 87, 88, it would be alongside all those things I just mentioned. Yeah, but it's not as good as.
Yeah, but that's the problem, though, isn't
Sure.
it? When something is reminiscent of something, it then has like a responsibility to be as good as those things. Otherwise, what's the fucking point?
But I would rather it emulate that and be what I think is decent than sound like 1994 and be shit. And so I'm like, this is one of the better ones on here for me.
Well, I can follow that logic. I don't really buy into that as myself.
Yeah.
But I think this is, it's a good quality songwriting duo coming up with something that is,
this is just straightforward. There's no
this is very much
inventiveness or
an
whatever.
album track on a 6th album.
Sure, right.
Which is exactly what it is.
Yeah,
no surprises, but yeah, it's fine.
For me, the chorus it sticks around in my head more than it does for a lot of other songs.
I mean, I've just listened to it and I can't remember.
There is a line that I don't understand. It won't be out there. It can't be far. So initially you're going, right, don't know what way you're going in that, and then falls like a teardrop to the star. What?
No idea.
No, don't know what that means.
No idea.
Not a clue. Okay, so all right, I'm more into that one than you. That's absolutely fine. I like the 80s bit. You don't find a hook. That's cool. Yeah.
Cool.
But we are at the end then. So number 10, we've got to finish it off big style.
With Because You're So Sweet.
Oh, it's because I've been eating a lot of pineapple.
Ugh, that's too much. So this is another slow builder. We've got to wait till just before verse 3 for the beat here.
Yeah. This is. I mean, I get. Do you keep your best song to the end so you go out with a bang, or do you just go, oh fuck it, got to put it somewhere?
Yeah.
'Cause I think this is pretty insipid, bland nonsense.
Well, I mean, look, I think this vocal is pedestrian.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I really like about the weird little beat that comes in. I think it's interesting and fun. Overall, fine.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
I wouldn't go insipid. I would say uninteresting.
I see. Right, no, for me, again, this is lower third of the album easily. I think this is boring.
The interesting thing for me is most of this is what the kids would call mid.
No, indeed, yeah.
It's proper mid all the way through with maybe 2 tracks that really elevate it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'd say so.
That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Oh, you're talking about this beat here?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, no, I think that's don't do it for me.
I mean, you could imagine that on an orbital track.
Yes, you absolutely could. You're very right there, yeah. But for me, this... It kind of goes nowhere for 4 minutes, and then it's got a fade out. It's got a limp finish, which is...
I've seen them live.
Limp finish. I mean, 4 minutes of the limp finish is sex for me, and I wouldn't release that on an album.
Well,
I wouldn't let the populace...
I mean, you leaked the sex tape, but no one downloaded it.
Not one. I don't like this at all.
I'm listening to it again now, going, yeah. I mean, I feel like I do like that weird little beat, but they do fuck all with it.
No,
so
they don't do anything with it.
Again, a bit. Yeah. Anyway, it is. So look, that's the album.
That is the album.
Right. Let's do some Twitter feedback.
Well, actually, do you want to just before I do that? Because I noted some of the from reviews from the time, right? And there are some very strange ones. But the thing is, there were some who were fucking loving it. And then there's some, like Melody Maker, James Slattery, Melody Maker, felt that they had taken a misguided quest for serious critical acclaim, resulting in the greatest single band in the last 10 years producing an album without one shag-happy top 5 certainty. Which I feel is a similar perspective of where I'm coming from. It's like they got the potential to do big pop hits and they've decided not to. But then Stephen Wells of NME said, there are 10 screamingly obvious international top 10 hits here. All of them hymns to an innocence which yearns desperately to be corrupted, and all of them with fabulous, juddering, soaring, sickeningly sweet melodies that wiggle and jiggle past the appalled intellect and make straight for the tear ducts.
Well, I don't think that's true.
That's nonsense.
I think that's the sound of someone that really loves this band a lot.
It must be.
And maybe that is the case.
All the leeway, yeah. But okay, yes, let's go to Twitter. And we didn't have loads and loads of responses on this because it's not one of the bigger albums we've done, but we did have a few. We have Ron Logan, who said that his memory is mainly that Always was the theme tune to the mid-2000s video game Real Unicorn Attack, which is why I even had it included in my thing. I've never heard that before in my life. Yeah. But like I say, some people, that's their memory of this song.
Nice.
Fine. Yeah. I guess you don't remember it from 1994, but you remember it from 2004 being on something different.
Darren Solar's come back to us. He's given us his favourite mixes, one of them being the Capella Club
Yes,
mix.
Indeed. That's why I checked that one out.
I apologise for being so dismissive about it, Darren. It's not. I don't think it's up my street, but I'm glad you get something out of it.
Oh, indeed. The thing is, I imagine Darren also, likes the Capella songs. They'd be up his street too,
right.
And therefore, why wouldn't you like Erasure's version of that? Absolutely. We've got Chris Rice. He says, I was a fan after getting their pop hits album, so also bought this. I particularly liked Always and I Love Saturday. It has a slightly more ambient sound, which they embraced on their 1995 self-titled album. Remember listening to this in the hot summer of 94. I haven't listened to it in a long while, but I remember thinking it was okay while not reaching those pop heights of their biggest hits.
I think I'm pretty much in agreement with you there, Chris. I don't think I Love Saturday would be my second choice on that record. We'll talk about that in a minute. Talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I think Always is head and shoulders above it. Yeah, it's a decent enough record. It's they're so capable that this isn't a terrible record, but it's if you're looking for something that stands up to the standards of the best stuff that they do, this ain't it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Sarcastic but fantastic got in contact. He said, almost missed this. I am a huge Erasure fan, and their trilogy of album from The Innocents, Wild, and my personal favourite, which I think you were very hard on, Chorus. So I put this on with great expectations one day. Always is a great song, probably the last Erasure classic there was, and the rest of the singles, Run of the Sun and I Love Saturday, are pretty good too, but the rest of the album is too much twee and kitschy for me, with the opening track, Take Me Back, setting the tone. And so he's also saying that Always is kind of the big one.
I pretty much agree with everything you've said there.
Yep,
I think
absolutely.
That's, again, I Love Saturday seems to be a bit more popular with others than with us.
No, but perhaps it was from people who remember it from the time.
Yeah.
Or perhaps people who are bigger Erasure fans than us, and therefore listen to this an awful lot more times than we have.
I think that's all the feedback we've got on this one. We've got a message as well.
We got a DM, absolutely, from Neil Hogg.
Hi, Dave and Krista. Really looking forward to the upcoming I Say episode, as it's one of the first albums I remember listening to as a kid. Now, that always makes a difference.
No, it's a huge difference.
We used to drive down to Jersey from Edinburgh for our summer holidays for 2 weeks in a tent. That sounds hard,
in
man.
Jersey.
These holidays usually involve the latest
almost nearly.
I fucking nearly did it.
Right.
Erasure album being played over and over again in the car as my parents were fans. Listening to this takes me back to being a carefree 8-year-old on holiday, having an amazing time with my family in the sunny Channel Islands. Well, I mean,
there you go.
I don't want to fuck with this guy's memory. No,
absolutely. And also, that's exactly where all these songs are. Take me back to that sunny time, to that beach.
Man.
Yeah, sure.
Ended up rediscovering this album in my late teens, which then led to me being a huge fan, like my parents were when I was a kid. Have seen them 8 times in concert, and can say they put on a bloody fantastic show after all these years. Still wish I was able to have been at the 92 shows, as they looked amazing.
Those are the ones that we talked about before, are they?
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they do sound out.
My friend Darren was at. I still think this is one of their best albums, with my highlights being all through the years, Man in the Moon and I Love Saturday. And I'm going to say straight up that's an awful lot of that is going to be because that's where you're tied to with it, I think.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, Man in the Moon was one of the ones I really like that.
Yeah. Also, still enjoy watching the video to Run to the Sun to see a silver-painted Statham, who seems not to have aged. Did definitely mark a change from sound in the previous albums, but I think this sounds like a more honest and heartfelt album than their previous outings. Keep up the amazing work, gentlemen. Thank you so much, man. And look, I'm so glad that you like it, love it as much as you do. As we say often on this record, we would always much rather love something than you don't. So glad you get so much out of it. I guess we don't have the history with it. That's kind of not quite the way it hit our ears. But it is what it is. Well, look, thank you so much for everyone that got in contact, as always.
Yeah, really appreciate that.
Really appreciate it. Let us know what you think of our takes by reply.
Sure.
And let's. I mean, I think we've pretty much summed this up already,
absolutely.
Haven't we?
Yeah, go for it. What's your overall impression, Dave?
Well, I mean, it's not a classic, but it's never really unlistenable. A couple of really notably great tracks on here. It's more or less what I expected from it, to be honest.
Okay.
Going in, I was like, if it's this and if it's this, I'll be happy. Yeah. And it is those things. It's not terrible, really. There's nothing that's an absolute... I think you're probably a little bit harsher on a couple of them than me. There's nothing that I'm like, I can't listen to this.
Oh, no, there's nothing I went, this is dog shit, one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. But there were a couple I went, this is a bad song. Yes. Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. It's pretty much where I was. I think it's solid enough.
Right.
I wouldn't go to people, oh, you must hear this record.
Yeah.
But I think there's a couple of moments on it that I think are worth. I don't feel like I was robbed of my time.
Okay. No, when I went into it with relatively low expectations.
Me too.
And similar to you, this is kind of what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I did want there to be another couple of, this is joyfully brilliant songs.
I would have preferred that too.
Of course you would. That would be lovely. But I didn't get them. I think there were probably 2 very good songs on there, an awful lot of filler, and a couple of, all right, that's a bad song. But yeah, so in terms of putting stuff onto our playlist.
So if you're joining us for the first time, what we do, every album that is part of the standard pantheon of stuff that we do, so that doesn't include specials, we have a playlist which you have on Spotify, which is always linked on our website, and we have to choose a maximum of 3, a minimum of 1 song that go from the album and go onto the playlist.
Yeah, so we've got a record of the best of stuff that we've had to listen to.
So, I mean, this is, as far, in terms of what's on here, this is a classic one-choice record, really. Although I could make although there are 2, I think there's 2 tracks I would make a case for.
Right, there were 2 that I would make a case for, but the second one is not going to match yours.
Okay.
So we're saying always.
Always, yeah.
Okay. Because my other one would be Man on the Moon. I did. Okay. I really enjoyed that.
Okay, it didn't get me. My other one would be Run to the Sun.
And I thought it was all right. But
okay.
I would stick with the one then.
All right, let's keep with the one. We'll just stick it on. It's a single. It's not, it's not always the best move, but it is. I just don't think you can.
It's almost like a cop out, but yeah, it's the best one.
It is so much better than
the best one.
Everything else on there. Yeah. All right, well, lovely guys. Thank you as always for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We will be back. I mean, I've got a holiday, so it's probably going to be closer to 3 weeks or so before this record. We try and get them out every 2 weeks, but this isn't something that we take money from.
Exactly.
It's not something that is our first thing that we have to do. So I reckon probably about 3 or 4 weeks for the next one.
But we'll be back.
But we will always be back, unless one of us dies. Actually, if I die, will you carry on without me?
Oh, I'll just get someone else in. No one will notice.
Yeah, probably no one would they? If you die, I'm not carrying on because you do all the production.
Oh, that's a point. You just shout it into the void.
Yeah,
you just phone people up and talk at them.
I know. I just never think about it again.
No, there's that.
Anyway, all right. Well, thank you for joining us, guys, and we'll be back soon. Take it easy, and see you soon.
Cheers. Bye now.
Bye.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We're on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and Facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is PCLpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on PCLmusicpodcast@gmail.com.